Welcome to the Journal of Medical Device Regulation podcast. My name is Maria Čapek. I'm your host for today's discussion. And joining me is Ferdinando Capece from the Italian National Association for Medical Devices and IVD Companies. Welcome, Ferdinando. I'm very happy to have you here on this program today.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me here.
Can you tell us a little bit about your organization and your role in it?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Ferdinando Capece. I'm the Quality and Regulatory Affairs for Confindustria Dispositivi Medici, which is the Italian Association for Medical Device and In Vitro Diagnostic. We represent small and medium enterprises, startups, multinational, and over 1 million of health technologies. So we represent the diversity of the sector. And we are committed to represent the value of the health technology and to ensure that everybody gets access to the best health technology, especially in Europe. Especially in the Quality and Regulatory Affairs units in which I'm working in, we support more than 400 members in ensuring that all the safe and effective devices are put into the market, thanks to the compliance to the Quality and Regulatory Affairs.
So you have recently co-written an article for the JMDR on the usability of medical devices according to the medical device regulation and the regulation on in vitro diagnostic devices. Why is usability important for the device industry?
The usability is crucial for medical devices, so it may be obvious probably that a device should be designed and manufactured and used in a way that doesn't put a risk to patient health. But this is a key pillar of the device industry. Since its origin. This need has been addressed by the directive in the 90s, and it has been confirmed by the regulation in the last 2 years. So this will be a crucial element for manufacturer to take into account for, and it's at the heart of the safety and efficacy of devices. And considering how much the legislator paid attention to such topic with laws, regulation, guidelines, and technical standards as well, this issue is very relevant and has a lot of practical implication linked to the development of medical devices. So it's very important, and as to say more concretely, if a device is hard to use or the instruction for use are not that easy to understand for the user, this may lead to an incorrect use, and it might be a risk for the user and for the patient. So a bad medical device design or a user interface that it's not particularly friendly or intuitive could lead to errors that can hamper the treatment, the diagnosis, and ultimately can cause injury or death. So it's very important.
And your article explains that the usability analysis is mandatory for device manufacturers in Europe. Are all the requirements that must be met listed in the general safety and performance requirements of Annex 1 to the regulations, or are there any other factors to consider as well?
Everything probably must be found, especially in the first 2 annexes of the regulation. So I'm talking about Annex 1 and 2 about the GSPR and the technical file documentation. Especially the general safety performance requirements refer to manage the risk, to eliminate or reduce the risk associated with the error in use, and talking about risk management as well in Annex 1. It says that any possible error in use occurring during the use of the device should be monitored and evaluated. But this is not anything that can be found on usability, because it's important for post-marketing as well. So if we go to Chapter 7, which is the one related to post-market surveillance in the new regulation, it says that manufacturers should establish a post-market surveillance system plan in which they have to collect, to gather, to analyze and evaluate data on the performance and the safety and the quality of the device during its entire lifetime. And in particular, this data collected in post-market surveillance must be used for the possibility to improve the usability and the performance of the device. So this information gathered in the post-market surveillance phase are very important and they end up in the technical documentation, especially the post-market surveillance plan, which is audited which is reviewed by a notified body. And therefore, it's very key in all the process and procedure of every organization. This aspect, let's say, can be looked even under a continuous improvement perspective as well in a quality management system.
And are there any specific standards that manufacturers can use to help meet these requirements?
But talking about standards for usability, first of all, we have the series of usability standards for the 62366, which defines the usability, the characteristics of the user interface, the effectiveness, the user satisfaction, so all the most important aspect in dealing with the usability. And the standards as well establishes the usability engineering process, which goes right from the device design to the post-market surveillance, so covering the entire life cycle of the device. Beside these fundamental standards for usability, of course, we have the most important ones for medical devices, which are the quality management system and the risk management. So the ISO 13405 for the quality management system, which specifically refers to the design and development inputs that should include usability requirements, even in the design and development change. And we have the risk management standards as well, referring to all the aspects to take into account while assessing the risk of a device related to the usability aspect.
And what are the key steps manufacturers should be taking to ensure compliance with the MDR and the IVDR?
I'd say from a general point of view that manufacturers should take a holistic approach to try to consider the full life cycle of the device. So from the first development to the post-marketing and then the decommissioning of the device, taking into account usability. So first of all, I'd say, as I said before, to start from the regulation. So take into account the Annex 1, 2, and 3 for the general safety performance requirements, for the, of course, usability requirements, for the technical documentation, and then the post-market technical documentation, the post-marketing plan. Then, of course, you have to apply, implement the structure, the system implemented by the standards, so the 62366 and the quality and the risk management system. And beside to that, I would add to carry on some tests to assess the usability of the medical device, which are a fundamental tool to ensuring the safe use of the product, with an idea to think about the device of a safety by design, so safety included in the first design of the devices. Just to mention one, I'd say that the time and motion studies could be probably the perfect tool to assess the usability requirements for a device, especially with those procedures where the time of execution is very critical. Beside the test, I would add, of course, the post-market surveillance provision with an eye to usability data, which is the most important source to validate all the statement that the manufacturer can make about the usability of the device.
And finally, I understand that several notified bodies have also provided input to the content of your article. And according to those notified bodies, what elements are generally taken into consideration during an on-site audit relating to the usability engineering process?
When we are in the presence of a technical standard notified body that are called to verify, to evaluate the adequacy of the approach of the methodology, have to go through the entire process that the manufacturer established in order to prove the usability of a device. And this assessment can be made general with numerical assessment, with the laboratory test, for example, regarding electromagnetic compatibility. So basically, a notified body will look for an entire life cycle quality and risk management system of device, which takes into account the usability from the development of of the device to the post-marketing phase, with an eye, of course, with a specific requirements for usability. And to do that, probably we'll go through your tests and methodologies that you manufacture use to prove the usability of the device, and then to keep monitoring the device during its use and to gather data to keep track of all the activities related to the device.
Well, fantastic. Ferdinando, thank you very much for joining me for this discussion today. I'm sure our readers will gain lots of insights from your article. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.
And,
thank you for inviting me.
And thank you everybody for listening to this podcast. Please check out the other podcasts we are offering on our website and follow us on social media. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.